Back again. I love using these takeout food covers because you can peel the paint right off. Getting my classic iconic Van Dyke red and some white, I think titanium, and some, this is the liquid slow dry gel, medium, not gel. Some white, making some white skin tone. Going back in today and doing some white cover up, my favorite thing. If you remember from before, we put some crunchy yellow tones over it to give the illusion that the fire is in the same room as her, and so now I'm going back in to refine her skin tone. It looks like I went back in on his foot off camera and looking pretty good if I say so myself. Now I'm coming in to fill in some of these gaps that are hurting the believability. Like there's just some of the under painting shining through I don't want. Kind of like refining the details. Her hands are looking very blue and like around her top. I had gone back in with a dark blue paint pen to kind of do some like shadow layering and cleaning up, and that is what that is. It'll be covered up. It's just so that I have the hint of a definition once we do fill it in. I kind of do that everywhere. Maybe you can see it here too. Putting this together and watching this in fast motion and then like scrolling in the editor, super triple fast motion, I am like repeating this over and over, and watching it I'm like, I could have just gotten that done with one paint stroke if I had enough paint on it. But then at the same time I am like layering films of color, and that's what gives it the realism. So I don't know, I'm still really figuring out like how to capture the painting process and like what's interesting to watch. My hair's so gross, like seeing it close up and wiggly like that, but that's fucking hilarious, dork. Seeing through your Coke bottle ass glasses. Now I'm using my handy fountain pen nib situation, which I was using a lot before I got my liner brush, but it's not good at laying down paint, but it's good at putting in a miniature dot here or there. Now I hate this arm, and I am just gonna completely try to redo it. The idea is that she's like mid-turn and she's turning. This is the part of the story where Odysseus, his men are missing and he's coming to see what's going on, and everything is looking good in her house except the randomly the stool is overturned. So like in that moment, they make eye contact, and he knows that she knows, and she knows that he knows that she's turned all his men into pigs. And so it's like this moment of danger. It's a really exciting part, and I'm working on trying to convey that. So since she's turning, like, really we're not seeing her elbow. Her elbow is just barely behind her, and I'm trying to like figure that out. Figure out what that would look like. I rarely use, maybe it's obvious, I rarely use a life model. Actually, for this Odysseus, I did. I had someone do that pose so I could kind of get an idea of it, but then I just remembered it. I don't even think I took a photo or anything. I really hate painting from photos because it just looks awful. In my opinion, you can always tell when something is painted or drawn from a photo. And I also don't love a live model because I'm not going for realism, like I said before. The fun is like sculpting the form out of nothing. It's just a flat canvas and pigments. But for the but for this arm, the struggle like is real. In Boston, there's like the Museum of Bad Art or whatever, and I went there with my friend, and I loved so many of the pieces there, and I was like, this isn't even really bad, and my friend was just laughing at me the whole time. But like their whole thing is that they're making fun of people who have like gotten some wonky perspective, but like triggered. I always have a wonky perspective, but it's not. I'm not going for that. I want it to have an illustration type quality, I guess. And but now when I'm building this arm, I'm definitely thinking about the Museum of Bad Art and getting in my head about it. But also, not for nothing, I would die to have a piece in the Museum of Bad Art. Imagine that. That'd be sick. Follow so you can watch the next video when it's out.